Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I want to show you a new feature we just added to the NotebookLM Tools extension. It's called the podcast feature, and if you generate podcasts in NotebookLM, this is going to make things a lot easier. Lately, a lot of people are using NotebookLM, not just to summarize documents, but to generate podcasts from their notes. You can turn research papers, meeting notes, or long articles into audio. But here's the problem. From this home screen, you can't tell which notebooks already have podcasts. There's no indicator, no list. So if you want to find your audio, you end up opening notebooks one by one, just to check. And once you have more than a few notebooks, that gets annoying pretty fast. That's the friction we wanted to remove. So let me show you how the podcast feature in NotebookLM Tools fixes this. Instead of opening notebooks one by one, I just click the small NotebookLM Tools icon right here in the browser bar. That opens the extension as a small pop-up. From here, I click on Podcast. And this takes me straight to the podcast dashboard. This is where all your NotebookLM podcasts live. Everything you've generated shows up here in one place. Podcasts are grouped by notebook, so each notebook becomes its own podcast series. And from here, you also get a few different download options. You can download a single episode. If you just want one specific audio file, you can also download an entire podcast series, basically everything from one notebook. Or, if you want everything, you can download all your podcasts at once. That makes it really easy to take your NotebookLM podcasts offline, or listen to them in any podcast app or audio player. Now, that's the ideal experience. But let me show you what this looks like without NotebookLM Tools. Back in NotebookLM, you have to manually find the notebook that contains the podcast. For example, let's open this one, Santa Visits the Artemis II Rocket. Inside NotebookLM, downloading podcasts is much more limited. You can only download audio one episode at a time. Even if this notebook has multiple audio files, there's no way to download the entire series at once. And if you have podcasts spread across different notebooks, you have to repeat this process for each one, again and again. So this is what downloading looks like inside a single notebook. Now let me walk through a real example and create a new audio episode from scratch. Back on the NotebookLM home screen, I'll open this notebook Economic Policy and Global Markets. From here, I'll click Audio Overview. This tells NotebookLM to generate a podcast-style audio based on the content in this notebook. NotebookLM will process the notes, turn them into a structured audio overview, and generate a new podcast episode. This usually takes a little bit of time depending on the size of the notebook, so I'm going to fast forward here. Once the podcast is ready, I don't need to manually copy anything. I just come back to the podcast player and click Scan All Notebooks. NotebookLM Tools automatically finds the new episode and adds it to the dashboard. Now I can play it instantly, just like a normal podcast. I can speed it up or slow it down, depending on how I want to listen. I can skip ahead 30 seconds or jump back 10 seconds with a single click. And if you prefer using keyboard shortcuts, you're covered here as well. You can press the spacebar to play or pause the audio. Use the arrow keys to skip backward or forward so you can quickly revisit a part or jump ahead without touching the mouse. You also get keyboard controls for volume and mute, which makes it really convenient when you're listening while doing other work. It feels just like using a real podcast app, but everything is built directly on top of NotebookLM. So that's the new podcast feature in NotebookLM Tools. Instead of hunting through notebooks just to find your audio, you get a clean, dedicated podcast player that brings everything together in one place. You can scan all your notebooks, instantly play new episodes, and listen to your research like a real podcast. If you're already using NotebookLM to generate audio, this makes the whole experience much smoother. No extra steps, no manual tracking, just press play and listen. Thanks for watching. And if you have any feedback or suggestions, feel free to give a comment below. We're actively improving NotebookLM Tools, so your feedback really helps. I'll see you in the next one.